We spent a week at the Narrows RV Park in Princeton, Oregon. What did we think? Well, let me show you around the park. The first thing I want to do is show you our site. Obviously, it's a gravel site. We have our 32-foot Class C and our two-door Jeep that's kind of parked out next to it. Got these nice trees, very pretty. We've got this little cobblestone patio. Got this grill stand and a picnic table and a fire pit. Got these trees back here. And then back in this corner on the fence, we have this bird house. Now, we're only about 3 miles from the Malheur Nature Preserve, which is a bird sanctuary with so many different kinds of birds. Here's a closer shot of the fire pit. And you can see the shadows of birds flying overhead in this clip. There were so many birds the entire time we were here. The best bird watching we've had on the road, to be frank. Now, there is a road that runs along the side of the park, but that fence did help a little bit with a sense of privacy and sound. Now here we're walking along the utility side. We actually didn't have a neighbor on this side the entire week that we were here. Here are the hookups. They're pretty well located. Not too hard for Justin to get all set up. More trees. Yeah, a very nice site, honestly. They do have pull-throughs. You can see across the way there are some. I'll give you a few other views of the park, just so you can get a sense of the roads and how wide the sites are. You do check in at the front desk at the store, which I will show you. So this is the external view of that building. This building houses the store where you check in, the restaurant, the bar. And let me show you, there's this huge parking lot in front. So there's plenty of room to park your rig to come in. And this is the desk where you check into the RV park, buy things from the store, or check out from the restaurant. And now I'll give you a little walkthrough of the store so you can see the kind of things they sell. This is the employee area in the back. Looks like they sell all kinds of drugstore stuff. A few bits of hardware. Sodas. They've got some bread. Some alcohol and dairy. Obviously all your convenience store kind of snacks. They also have a quick meal menu. Good little convenience store, I say. And then in this final aisle here, they have some grocery staples in case you're cooking and you forgot something. This is especially important because this RV park is 30 miles from the nearest town of any size that has any sort of grocery store. So if you need something, this is saving you a 60-mile drive round trip. And here's the restaurant, the Jackalope Grill. It's small, but they were extremely friendly, and the food was honestly really good. This is my meal. I had the meatloaf special, and it's not exactly photogenic, but it was delicious. Justin had a really, really good burger and fries, and an excellent milkshake that they whipped up from scratch. This is the building that the 3 showers and the laundry room is in. I'll show you the laundry room. It's small, but it works. It's $2 to wash and $2 to dry, so it's quite affordable. There are only 2 washers and 2 dryers, so it's a small laundry room, but it'll do. And they have this change machine. And this is one of the 3 bathrooms. It's clean, older, no frills, but it's clean. Now, one of the interesting things about this is that the shower actually takes quarters. It does cost money to shower here. Those are the rates. I think part of this is because this RV park is so near to a bunch of forest and BLM land and things like that, that they are trying to make sure that people, don't just come in and use the shower without being a guest or paying for it. That makes sense to me. So what did Ratface, our cat, think of the park? Well, he enjoyed the drive out there. He enjoyed driving through the hills and the mountains and seeing the beauty and splendor there. I will say that there were a lot of mosquitoes in the area of the Narrows RV park, and Ratface wasn't a fan, so he mostly stayed inside and watched the birds. You can see him here enjoying his time there from inside the rig. Even got his little leg out as he's sleeping. So he wasn't active here, but he had a decent time. As far as nearby attractions, as I mentioned before, you are only 3 miles from the Malheur National Wildlife Refuge, which is premium bird watching. And incidentally, this same wildlife refuge is home to the largest single living organism on Earth, which is a giant mushroom that covers about 2,000 acres. Now, nobody knows exactly where it is within the refuge. They keep that a secret from people because they don't want you all going and digging it up. But it was kind of cool knowing I was near that. Near a fungal celebrity, as it were. Okay, so you've seen around the park. Let's talk about the pros and cons. The first pro is the price. It is cheap for full hookups. No complaints here. It definitely ticks the box on being affordable. The second pro is that we are only 3 miles away from a wildlife sanctuary. And as you could see, they have birdhouses near all the sites. The birds are coming and going the whole time, singing their bird song. You can probably hear them on this video, to be honest. And there's a wide variety of really interesting birds. Justin was able to actually get a guide online from the nature preserve, and he has an app on his phone that identifies the bird calls, and we have been spotting them all week, and it's been a really cool activity. Even from our couch, we've seen some really cool birds. Love that. The third pro is that this park has great trees. Not really surprising in Oregon, except we are in the Oregon desert. We're kind of in this high desert that's, maybe not what you're thinking of with west of the Cascades and the whole Pacific Northwest rainforest situation. I was very pleasantly surprised to find mature trees. The one near our site that you can see behind us actually has a nest in it. So, obviously the birds are in the trees all the time, but you also have this shade. I have good shade as I am talking to you on this video. I love that. Although it is a little tough to sit outside for long periods of time, which I will get to in the cons section, but for now, another pro. And that pro is the diner. So on site, they have that restaurant, Jackalope Grill. And anytime an RV park has a restaurant on site, that's a big perk because maybe it's a long travel day, you don't feel like cooking, or you want to try the local fare, they have that. I love that. Always a big fan of RV park restaurants. And the next pro is right in the same building, and that's that convenience store. So I'll get into this in the cons, but you are way far away from civilization here. This park is 30 miles from the nearest town, which is kind of a small town. So you're not really near grocery stores. The RV park office has a convenience store that has all kinds of staples. So if you've forgotten something, you can kind of find it there and you can still cook. And between that and the RV park restaurant, you're really good to go all the way out here. It's really nice. It's very convenient. It's very appreciated. And the final pro is that the owners are super nice. I checked in, it was kind of at the beginning of their dinner rush. You go in and you check in at the store counter. And when I came in, they basically had a cook and a waitress. And I believe the waitress is one of the owners of the park. She came and balanced waiting tables and checking me in. And she was so busy, but you wouldn't have known it. She was so sweet. She was so nice. I felt so appreciated and catered to. You wouldn't know that she was running around like spinning plates and hectic as heck. She never made me feel that way. I was really impressed. She was a very nice lady. Okay, so
Just a few cons today, but thought I'd mention them. I've alluded a little bit in the pros section, but here we go. The first con is the mosquitoes. This whole time I am filming and talking to you, I am fighting off mosquitoes. Now, we are near a lot of wetlands, and that's why there's so much mosquito population, the standing water. We were talking about it, Justin and I, and we think that's probably also why there's so many birds here. They're feeding on those bugs. So you're near the wildlife refuge, you got the birds, you've got kind of this interesting biome, you got mosquitoes. It is what it is. For the most part, it means that we're not spending too much time outside here, which is a shame because we have such a lovely site. And there seems to be like a small hole somewhere in the RV. You know how mosquitoes are. If they can get in, they will. We have a catchy thing to help catch the mosquitoes. We have an electrified fly swatter. We're doing our best. As long as we stay inside, it's pretty much okay. It's just outside for this video. Boy, oh boy, I am fighting them. And you may see them flying across the camera or on me while I'm doing this, even with bug spray. The second con I also sort of foreshadowed in the pros, and that is that we are very isolated. Now that could be really relaxing, but the fact remains we are 30 miles from Burns, Oregon, which is only a couple thousand people. And as far as cities of really any size, you're talking 2 hours to go to Bend, Oregon, which is why we're here. We are kind of driving from Boise to Bend, and this was a really good stop for us. But yeah, it is not really near much. So it worked for our purposes, but you know, unless you want to go to the wildlife reserve or the Alvord Desert where they set the land speed records, it's kind of a playa situation. It's been famous on YouTube. You're kind of in the middle of nowhere, but like I said, they have some conveniences here that do help with that. And Burns is only 30 miles away. I mean, only 30 miles away, but if you really need something, they have like a Safeway, they have medical facility, things like that. And the final con is that some of the locals can be a little bit out there and kind of territorial. And I'll tell you, it was kind of our first impression of the place, unfortunately, because the owners are so nice. And I hear there are lots of nice people live in this area. When we first came in to check in at 3:30, the first night we were here, we were pulling into that huge parking lot, and there was a truck right in front of us, just a pickup truck. And I tell you, he stopped as we were trying to get into the RV park in a way that he was like diagonal and taking up that whole space somehow. We couldn't get around him in the rig. And he stopped because his friend was there. There were a couple other guys. There's a couple guys in this truck that was parked diagonal. And then there was a couple guys in this other truck that were kind of off to the side. They were just chatting. They were just chatting about stuff. And his friend that he was kind of chatting with, the one who wasn't blocking us, was like pointing like at us behind. And the guy was like, oh, no, let him wait. And we could see them. And we basically sat there for what felt like an eternity because this guy wouldn't move. He didn't care. So I think part of that is that there's not a lot in this area. The Jackalope Bar and Grill is one of the only things in Princeton. So this is kind of a locals hangout too, as well as being part of the RV park. That said, it wasn't really like a huge ruiner, but it was palpable and it was really interesting to me. And to be frank, it isn't something that I'd experienced in other places. So I'm not sure if that's just a function of this region or what, but yeah. Very minor con though, and like I said, the owners are lovely. Justin had done some digging online when he was booking. I believe he said that one of the neat things about this park is that it had been recently bought in 2019, I want to say, by new ownership, and they had put a lot of time and energy into fixing it up. And so I noticed that there's not even any other reviews of it on YouTube, at least when I'm doing this. And when we went to actually kind of check it out to see how do we get in, because a lot of times we'll go to Google Maps and we'll kind of look at the satellite view and see where's the entrance and things like that. The Google car hadn't been around since it had been rebought and fixed up. So that tells you how far out we are. The owners are doing their darndest. It looks great. I give it a seal of approval, even with a few minor cons. I think this is really cool. I think it's a hidden gem, and I'm rooting for them as they continue to develop and work on this place. They're doing a great job so far. But yeah, bottom line is it was great for the week, great for a stopover between Boise and Bend, and I really don't have any complaints. I'm excited to see what happens with this park as time goes on. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.